Hey from YouTube, this is Rabbi speaking, and I know I'm a bit late with the Star Wars Visions review video. I know some people put their videos out like a day after it came out, or maybe a few hours or a couple days after, and that's cool and all, but I wanted to take my time with this though. I want to just write a script on what I want to say, what my thoughts are and everything. I just want to take my time a bit. Some of the episodes of Star Wars Visions I watched the second time, and some of them I've enjoyed better. And talked about Star Wars Visions before in a few videos back, just like some updates and stuff. But so for those of you who haven't watched the videos, here is what Star Wars Visions is about. So Star Wars Visions it's a little hard to explain though. Some of you have probably already heard, if you haven't watched Star Wars Visions, some of you have probably already heard that Star Wars Visions is Star Wars anime. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up though. Like, Star Wars Visions is 9 episodes, but each episode is from a different studio. Like, this episode is from that studio, or that episode is from that studio, or just each episode of Star Wars Visions can consist of 14 minutes to sometimes 23 minutes. And when it comes to the 23-minute episodes, they feel more well-paced, whereas the shorter episodes kind of feel a bit fast-paced, like they're rushing things, like we gotta get this done or that done. But I'm not bash-talking those episodes for being short. Of course, with this being Star Wars, we have the Force, the Jedi, the Empire, and we also have a couple familiar faces in the second episode, where we have Jabba the Hutt, we have his assistant Bib Fortuna. Not that really anybody cares about him too much, but still. One character that people really care about the most is Boba Fett, who is voiced by the same guy who did Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, and also Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones. I think his name is, if I pronounce it right, it's Tamara Morrison. I'll put it. I'm bad mispronouncing names, guys. So I'll leave his name on the screen right here, though. So yeah, that's his name right there. But despite all those familiar elements that we've seen in past Star Wars content, it's not enough for this to be Star Wars canon. In fact, if none of these episodes are considered canon, then I'm fine with that though. It gives I've said this before in a past video, I felt like it gave them more freedom doing all this stuff, not having to worry too much about plot points conflicting with the main plot, the continuity, just letting them do whatever they want. And that's another thing though too, like some of this action scenes and everything like that though, I felt like they went kind of out of the box with this though, especially Studio Trigger with episode 3, the twins. Like, that action, that's the type of action you would see in Kill la Kill or some of their other animated works. So I feel like these are kind of backdoor pilots though. I feel like they're either setting up for a second season of Star Wars Visions, or they could be spinning off for different anime series, like Star Wars Vision short gets their own anime, or that one gets its own anime, which I would kind of prefer that better than a second season of Star Wars Visions, because I feel like you can expand each story though. Like, instead of just continuing the story in just one episode, why not just continue it in like multiple episodes, or maybe even a movie. I feel like I'm being repetitive, guys, because the last video I did on this, but maybe introduce more Star Wars shorts in the next season of Star Wars Visions. Now, usually when I do reviews, whether it's on an old anime or a current anime, usually I score the whole anime something out of 10, but for this one, I'm going to rate each episode just by itself. Like, I'm gonna rate this episode something out of 10, or that episode something out of 10, because each episode just stands out on their own. They have their own stories to tell, so it's just hard to give Star Wars Visions an overall score rather than just the episodes itself, if that makes sense. So let's start off with episode 1. I really love this one. I think everybody loves this one just because how mature it is, the action, the main character. It's just such a different take on Star Wars. I like the black and white environment. It reminds me a bit of The Giver. If you haven't read The Giver, basically the world in The Giver is black and white, but it does get some color later. Once the lightsabers come out, that's when there's color. Oh, and also when there's lasers shooting, like there's color, it really feels like they're trying to tell Star Wars in a different type of way just by doing this. I love the lightsaber duel. I mean, it might go down as one of my favorite lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars. It would be a 9 out of 10. One of my favorites. But it's not my only favorite episode, but we'll get into those in just a moment because the next episode is episode 2, Tatooine Rhapsody. I think that's how you pronounce it. Now, I know some people don't like this episode because it just seems childish, and the only complaint that I have with this episode, the animation, I mean, the animation looks good, don't get me wrong though, but the characters, they look a bit shorter, and their heads look a bit too large, in my personal opinion though. They look like bobbleheads. But other than that though, I like that they were on Tatooine. I mean, they went to Buta Eve, which is where Anakin did his pod race, which I thought that was pretty cool though. But it was also cool to see, you know, Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett, an 8 out of 10. I don't care that people dislike this episode, that they hate it. I thought it was okay. Not the best, but I thought it was okay. Now on to episode 3, The Twins. Now, when I watched this episode the first time, I thought that was one of my favorites. The second time I watched it, I still enjoy it, but I see a bit more in the couple flaws. Now, I know Studio Trigger, they are used to doing this really out-of-the-box action, and like I said before, I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the animation, the character designs. I enjoyed the two characters, the twins, the one towards the light, the one who stayed in the dark side. But the only complaint that I have is when they're fighting on the Star Destroyer in space. And they don't have air helmets or anything. But yet, this one evil C-3PO character, he has a helmet on. And droids, they don't need air helmets because they don't breathe. So I don't get that at all. I mean, I know it's just me. Maybe it's just me nitpicking and all that, but other than that, though, this one was still pretty cool, though. I just, you know, they're always good at making really good action scenes. The female twin, when she had the multiple red lightsabers, like she's General Grievous, that was pretty cool too. I don't know if this is still one of my favorites, but it's still a 9 out of 10 for me. Now on to episode 4, The Village Bride. At first when I watched this, I thought it was good, but then when I watched it a second time, better. I mean, I think I'm starting to like it better than the Twins episode. This one, even though it doesn't start off action-packed or anything like that though, you really are interested in the village that this is taking place at. The runaway Jedi who is experiencing this though, you really feel like you're learning this experience with her. Like you are just relating to this Jedi as she is learning about this foreign culture. Plus, I liked seeing the battle droids again. I thought it was cool to see the battle droids being reprogrammed. Feel like I'm just gonna get more to spoiler territory, but this one, a 9 out of 10. And now on to my number one favorite, episode 5, The Ninth Jedi. This, remember when I said about the 23 episodes being more well paced? Yeah, this one was super well paced. It took its time though. Like the beginning is just normal downtime, and then the rest is just non-stop action and some adventure. This one's about the daughter of a lightsaber smith who I'm guessing is trying to become a Jedi as well, which I know that's kind of similar to some of the other plots that we've gotten in Star Wars, and it just raises questions at the end. It has a nice twist. For those of you who have not watched that episode, that twist towards the end is just, it just caught me off guard though. I was like, what? Like they really played that card? Like they actually took that risk? Of course, with this being my number one favorite, it's a 9 out of 10. Maybe even a 10 out of 10 for that matter though. This, I really hope, gets its own anime. Get this one its own anime. Please. Just please. But of course, there is a least favorite episode of mine. And that is the 2B1. This is episode 6. And Before I get into what I don't like about this, I'm just gonna say I like the animation. It reminds me a bit of Astro Boy, made by Asuma Tezuka himself. People say this is the Astro Boy, and I can see it that way. I feel like once the character makes a mistake, he makes a really stupid mistake. He gets his master into some sort of trouble, which I won't spoil, but let's just say he gets his master into trouble, and towards the end, I feel like he doesn't really learn from his mistake though. This is a character that created a really big mistake, and he barely takes blame for it. Plus, he also gets a little too strong. Now, I know I've said earlier that these animated studios, they have more freedom to do whatever they want. Yeah, but still though, I feel like this character gets a little too strong. I feel like he just kind of reminds me a bit of where in Fairy Tail the characters get stronger because of the power of friendship. That's how I feel with this one though. Like I said, I don't hate this one, but if I had to pick a least favorite, it would be this one. So I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. But the next one is better, and that is the Elder episode. I think we're on episode 7 now. The Elder episode is just more of a simple adventure. A Jedi Master and a Jedi Padawan, they're just on this ordinary adventure. Well, it seems kind of ordinary until they run into this old man who wields the dark side. And the old man is really cool, by the way, though. You don't know his name, where he came from, but you're really interested to see what he's going to do, how strong he is and all that. Now, I know I said before earlier in this video that these anime shorts should get more, like they should just get more anime episodes and all that. Well, if you're going to continue this story of Star Wars Visions, go backwards. Like, tell us the story of what the old man was like before this current story. This one, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10 though. I really like the action. The Master was pretty cool. The Padawan, I mean, he was okay, but I didn't think he was like that impressive of a character. So 9 out of 10 though still. And now on to the next episode, episode 8, which is this is the Lope and Ocho episode. Now this is another episode where I thought it was good, but the second time I watched it, pretty good. Kind of similar to how I liked episode 4 better the second time I watched it. That's how I feel with this episode. And another thing that makes it feel a bit similar to episode 4 is that the cultures. We're exploring another culture, learning more about its background. Plus, I really like the character Lope. I mean, she just seems really interesting. She started off as a slave of the Empire to being adopted in this family. She's trying to find her place in this family, in the world that she is living on, but also dealing with the conflict of the Empire, how it's tearing apart her family. She's just going through this personal growth and also this conflict with the Empire. And I also enjoyed that we actually have an alien for our main character. That'd be like if we had a Wookiee for a main character, or maybe even a Gungan for that matter. This one is a 9 out of 10. And now on to the last episode, and that is Akakiri. I think that's what you call it. This one, what's different about this episode though is that this takes place like probably thousands of years before the current Star Wars plot, if that makes sense. This one is kind of takes place when the Sith were still around. You have a Sith for a main antagonist, and of course the Jedi is the main protagonist. But what's different about this Jedi though is that he has a love interest. He has this, he was in love with this one girl who is in charge of this world, who's a princess and all that. So yeah, I mean, we've kind of gotten these storylines before where Anakin was in love with Padme, Obi-Wan being in love with Satine. That's what this love story is, but it's a bit different though. And I don't want to spoil it though, but it's a bit different. I do like the animation. The animation looks a lot different though. Yes, it's anime, but the character designs look a lot different, which I like though. It makes it stand out a bit more. The only thing that I don't like is that the ending is a bit fast paced. Now, I don't want to spoil anything when it comes to the ending, but the only thing about it is that it's really fast paced. They're just like, okay, Like, we got this done, so now we gotta get this done. Like, and another problem I have though is that there are these two supporting characters that, I mean, they're okay, but I felt like we didn't really need them in this episode. I felt like this episode should have focused more on the two characters, the Jedi and the princess, and the love that they share together. That's what this should be about more, and not have some side characters ruin it for them. I was going to give it an 8 out of 10, but I think I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because it had a different type of ending. Despite being fast-paced, it was still a cool ending. 9 out of 10 for me. What did you guys think of these episodes? What was your favorite? What was not your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'm hoping for more though. Are you hoping for more? Comments down below. I really hope that Disney does not cancel this though. I mean, I don't think that they will. I don't think Disney will give them the axe and be like, no more Star Wars Visions, no more Star Wars anime. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe so that way you get more videos like this every time I upload. I'm Rob A, and may the anime force be with you.